Hey, Ben. It's Bart Orth from Spokane, Washington. Not all great coaches are competitive athletes, and not all competitive athletes make great coaches. From firsthand experience, I know that you're a great coach. Just curious, what competitive aspirations, if any, do you have in the sport of CrossFit going forward? Thanks, Ben.
So, to be honest, this question is a whole lot harder to answer now than it was a couple years ago. Like a couple years ago, I was newer in the CrossFit. I was coaching less athletes. My business really wasn't much of a business. I was just sort of giving away stuff for free on the website. And, I wasn't a father. Just my life looks a lot different than it did then. And I think especially if you're younger in your career, I think it's really easy to sort of put the blinders on and to focus at the task at hand and be able to be a little more one-sided in how you attack things. And I think that is something that I value a lot, and that's something that athletes who want to be the best, that's the mindset you have to have, where you cut other stuff out. You be really diligent in how you spend your time, and you focus all of that into one aspect of your life. And you have to do that if you want to be the best. And for that reason, right, I always say that, like, I don't want to be a games athlete, right? Not that I wouldn't love to be a games athlete if I was at that level, but I'm not going to cut all the other stuff out of my life to try to pursue that, because that's not the type of life that I want to live. So where does that leave me? I'm a CrossFit coach. I train pretty hard, but I have balancing all these different things. I mean, to be completely honest, it sort of leaves me in limbo, right? Like, I did a lot more competitions that were sort of like RX level, like local stuff for a while. I did, the CrossFit competitive season, every year since 2017. So it's sort of where I'm like, man, I'm kind of tired of the local stuff. I'm sort of tired of doing online competitions, because I like being in person, having other people on the competition floor, and be able to have an in-person setting. Like, that's just way more fun to me. Like, I grew up playing sports, and that's the sort of thing I enjoy. So, I don't find a ton of value in doing qualifier style workouts in my gym or in my garage. Like, it's just not super fun. So where does that lead me? I think, it could be doing RX competitions where it's like somewhere I have to travel, right? Like, I'm not good enough to qualify for the elite division, but I think, an RX level where it's like actually a pretty stiff competition could be really fun, especially if it's at a location like Wadapalooza or something, right? Where it is a more competitive RX field, I think could be something that's rewarding and really puts like a carrot out there for me to train and be my best. I think could be, maybe going team. I've never done team in my life, but I think that's something that would, be a good change of pace in training, and just sort of provide some, again, another sort of carrot or like a goal to try to train for, and just sort of a new aspect of training, whether that's, Zor Fitness putting a couple of teams together and traveling to some of the bigger competitions. Frankly, a lot of the team competitions still aren't as stiff as the individuals, just because you have to be able to put 3 or 4 really good people together on a team, and you have to communicate. There's just a lot more factors that go into it. So I think there's more opportunity for someone who's not at an elite level in fitness, but they're still a really good competitor and can be smart about how they organize a team, can be pretty successful. So I think that could also be a possibility. And then, maybe it's also just like train so that I can maintain a lot of the qualities that are good for life, and just also just keep credibility for me as a coach. Like, I think I can demonstrate that I am capable of the movements, that I'm capable of doing the programming that I write, maybe not to the same degree as the people that are the very best, but just demonstrating that, hey, I practice what I preach. I'm not letting myself go, right? Like, all those things that you see that are sort of like mismatches in other fields, like you hire a financial advisor and they're broke, or they're in credit card debt or something. It's like, I just want to be in alignment, right? And I think being in alignment for me means staying within my values, right? Putting my family first, making sure that I'm executing on the things that I've committed to, which is being a coach and being basically delivering on the deliverables of my business and to the people that I interact with on a regular basis, doing that at the highest level that I possibly can, and then filling up whatever I'm comfortable with, basically, giving of myself and the remainder to CrossFit in terms of my own training. And I think there's a lot of value in still learning how to do both of those and do them at the best of my ability. But this is a way more developed answer in terms of why I would want to do this and how I might go about it than the younger version of me. But I think, especially a lot of my masters athletes, they I think Kyle Roos said this, like masters athletes just have a more developed why. I'm not a masters athlete yet, but I am now a father and I have all these other aspects of my life. So I think more and more of that comes into play.